God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. Welcome back from the weekend. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you are ready for another week of news and excitement. This is definitely shaping up to be a thrilling election season. And we've got some news today. The big stories from today, let me just tell you something that I think about the White House. I'll call it drama. You know, the big story, this has been the headline on Drudge Report all day long, is Omarosa, Omarosa, Omarosa. She's wrote a book. Her latest book is out. I think it's called Unhinged. You remember the last time we talked about a book that was coming out of somebody that had allegedly penetrated the inner circle of the White House? That book ended up to be full of lies and full of garbage. I think that this is going to be a similar story. Anytime we hear about somebody coming out of the White House and writing a book that's a very scathing review of Trump's presidency and his administration, it ends up falling flat. Now, apparently, Omarosa has tapes to go with her book. Apparently, she's been doing interviews that go with her book, and she's been contradicting herself. I think that it's all White House drama, and it's going to blow over, and it's going to mean nothing. Now, is that going to be the case for every single book that somebody that comes out of the White House writes? No, not necessarily, but we are getting a lot of bad... the press is getting a lot of bad press for the president coming out of these disgruntled ex-employees, and I think this is just another case of that. Now, could it turn out to be different? Sure, but I'm not putting a lot of stock in this book. I'm not that interested about things that have been playing out within the White House and coming out of the White House as far as quote-unquote scathing reviews of the presidency go. So I wasn't too thrilled to be covering this. Now, I do have something else to talk about. I have a couple of pieces here from the Patriot Post. I didn't get to do the research that I would have liked to have done on last weekend's rallies and protests, but I do want to talk a little bit about some of these things. Now, over the weekend, it was the anniversary of the Charlottesville riots. You probably remember it was a big deal. We talked about it a little bit. It was some of the earliest content that I was putting out. There was a riot / rally / protest in Charlottesville this time last year where it was called the Unite the Right Rally, and it was unfortunate that it was called the Unite the Right Rally because the people that showed up for this rally have about as much in common with the right as black supremacists do. The only thing that the alt-right, as they are now being called, have in common with conservatives is that they, well, no, that's not really the best way to put it either. They don't have much in common. I mean, the alt-right in the form of Richard Spencer and the people that put on the Unite the Right rally and some of their YouTube channels, I can only think of a couple, Millennial Woes and a guy goes by the pseudonym JF. They are alt-right personalities on YouTube. They are socialistic, extremely socialistic in their take on economics and morality. The only difference between them and the left is the color of the skin of the people that they care about. You know, the far left cares about anybody who's not white and socialism, and the alt-right cares about white people and socialism. That's the difference between the two sides of this coin here. But the left, the media and the left wing loves to call them alt-right, loves to call this event the Unite the Right rally, because it allows them to paint racists and it allows them to paint racist and anti-American individuals as right-wingers, which they're not. The only thing, as I say, the only thing that they have in common with the right wing is the name they choose to wear, alt-right. Now, they had this rally on Saturday. I've spent a lot of time beating around the bush. Let me get to the point. They had this rally on Saturday in D.C. About 20 very far fringe right-wing individuals showed up to rally under the Unite the Right banner. In Charlottesville, there was supposed to be a similar rally, and apparently nobody from the alt-right showed up. But there were plenty of people out to protest these events. There were Antifa members. I'm sure that there were plenty of people that just didn't want to, that just wanted to protest white nationalism and white supremacy. But there were Antifa individuals in these protests as well. And when there is nobody from the right wing to attack, you attack the people that are to the right of you when it comes to Antifa. When there's nobody from the right wing to attack, Antifa attacks people that are right of Antifa, which just happens to be pretty much everybody else. So the police were attacked, the media were attacked. There were quotes like what was it? The police and the Klan go hand in hand. I think there are some of these quotes from these Patriot Post stories that we can look at. This one is headlined, MSM makes mountain out of white nationalist molehill. And I'm sure you've recognized, if you've been watching the media, the mainstream media, and listening to this program, I'm sure that you've recognized that the mainstream media loves them some white nationalists. All the way back at the election of the president, I think it was The Atlantic, did a big sweeping piece where they went deep into the quote-unquote alt-right and started talking about them, gave them a huge platform. Anytime a white nationalist has anything to say, the mainstream media is there with a microphone for them to say it into, because it's good scare tactic. It's good nightmare fodder for the left to show, look, there's people out there that are saying these things. And the mainstream right disavows their far right, I'll call them quote-unquote brethren. But you don't get the same treatment for the far left from the mainstream left. In fact, the mainstream left includes Antifa. So, let's see. I want to get a couple of quotes from this piece. As I said, I didn't have a lot of time in my busy schedule today to do a lot of the research that I like to do. So this is a short piece, and it focuses on the mainstream media's coverage of the Unite the Right rally. Let's focus on this paragraph. Showing up for the poorly named Unite the Right 2 rally, poorly named because it serves the mainstream media's conflation of white racism with conservatism, were thousands of counter-protesters who stood shouting down both the white supremacists and Trump. The leftist violence-seeking agitators, known as Antifa, also showed up clearly prepared for a fight. They screamed chants such as "anytime, any place, punch a Nazi in the face." Fortunately, the strong police presence combined with the minuscule size of the white nationalist contingent proved to thwart their efforts. Now, this is a pretty short piece from Patriot Post because there wasn't a lot of mainstream media coverage that fits in that went towards this protest, as far as I know, or the coverage has been overshadowed by Omarosa and her book. The other piece is much more interesting. There's a lot more content here. It's titled "Anarchy's Cast of Enablers," and I think that this is the piece that gives us a lot more of quotes from Antifa. Let me just go down through here and look. I would like to get some quotes from Antifa, but there may not be. Maybe I'm confusing this piece with Andrew Klavan's video from today, where he demonstrated a lot of the quotes. You know what I'll do? I'll go and I'll like Andrew Klavan's video from today so that you can find it easily from my my channel. You can watch that and hear some of those sound bites. This one's a lot more about the media and the government individuals that allow for this violence to go on. There was a lot less of that enabling today. I think it's because of a lot of the work that the independent journalists and independent media figures have done to shed light on the nature of the violence that happened last year and at previous rallies that have been attended by Antifa. So, what I wanted to say, what I don't have pages to show you, but what I wanted to talk about, the title of this video is what is it? I wrote it down and then I left it behind at the office. Whatever. Anyway, some individuals in the media have started to come around to the violence that is being perpetrated against pretty much anybody. It's pretty much anything goes from Antifa's side at these rallies. But Brian Stelter and one other journalist, and I use journalist kind of loosely when I'm talking about these individuals, and Vox, of all places, wrote pieces, tweeted things, talking about the violence that Antifa was perpetrating against journalists and the police at this past weekend's events. It was kind of shocking to see as individuals like CNN and pieces and left-wing media organizations have provided cover for Antifa in the past, especially when it came to the Charlottesville riots. Remember, Charlottesville last year was where Trump got in a little bit of trouble because he said that there were good people on both sides and that violence came from many sides. The left-wing media jumped all over him for saying that, but today, where Charlottesville 2.0 was supposed to happen, the media was left only being able to talk about the violence that came from Antifa because there was nobody from the alt-right to speak of that was there to be violent. There was only Antifa, and they were violent as they usually are, and they were violent towards journalists and the police. So you have some media members, like Brian Stelter, like Vox, who were writing and telling stories about Antifa being violent towards the media and the police, and you had other media members, I think Tim Pool did a video where he talked about this. You have other media members that are continuing to provide cover for Antifa as they continue to be just generally thuggish people. They continue to act in a destabilizing, anarchist way against anybody that they can lay hands on. And you have far left-wing media figures and media organizations, that are continuing to provide cover for this far-left organization. And I kind of use organization loosely because Antifa has a loose organization in and of itself. But let me know what you guys think. First of all, let me say, I know that the past few videos have been pretty short. My schedule has been getting a little bit more hectic, and I haven't let that really be a roadblock in the past, but I think it's going to become a bigger problem as time goes on. As I begin to settle into this new job that I've taken on, I'm going to get more and more busy. So we'll just have to see. I've had an extremely busy schedule since I've made this transition that I told you was coming in my life over the last few months, and I don't think that it's going to be calming down anytime soon. So it might be that videos like this one become the norm, and the more well-researched, the better scripted videos might become more of a rarity. So let me know in the comments. Maybe it's time to have another shift in my video production. let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your opinion on this. Would you rather hear a video every day and run the chance that some of them are going to be more rambly like this one was? Or would you like to only hear better scripted videos where I have a clear progression of thought that I want to go through, but I maybe don't do a video every single day? Let me know in the comments down below what you would like to hear. Let me know also what your thoughts are on the events that we've talked about today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss a single video. Come back next time. Until then, good night and God bless.